Hello and welcome back to my channel, guys. I'm your host, Nobody, and today we're going back to Instruments of Destruction. The first one we got is Mutant Pac-Man by Extianus. I having a hard time saying his name. First off, this looks absolutely incredible here. Let's go ahead and back up this camera if we can. We see we got WASD controls, we have an R and an F, and we have some arrows as well. So the first thing I'm noticing is that this Pac-Man is very, very floaty. Doesn't really want to stay in one place. So let's go ahead and start hitting buttons. What does R do? R opens the mouth, and how... Oh, and it chomps down. That's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and test that out if we can. I like this building right here because of all the pedestrians kind of sitting on top. I think this is going to be good timing. Let's go. And there we go. The people are turned into raindrops. They are going all over the map. All right, I guess the next thing we can do is F. All right, let's try that one more time. It looks like we're not really lined up here, but it doesn't seem to matter. Pac-Man is utterly chaotic here. Wow. All right, with that laser in mind, let's go ahead and see if we can line this guy up with all these buildings simultaneously, and let's see if we can actually go through the whole lot of them. All right, that's looking pretty lined up. Let's go ahead and hit the button before I get out of sync here. Let's rotate. There we go. Oh. And just like that, all the buildings are completely gone. As fabulous as a creation as this is, I want to go ahead and move on because I do have a lot of things I want to go through in this episode. Up next, we have the Spire. Now, I'm not really sure what to expect with this creation. Let's go ahead and spawn it in, but the imagery just really captivated me. It's got some fairly simple controls. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and line them up with this big square thing, and I'm just going to hit a button and see what happens. Here we go for the up arrow. Alright, not at all what I was expecting, and it just seems to get stronger and stronger as the buildings actually disassemble themselves. Now, what this kind of reminds me of is like the claw machine at an arcade. That is a pretty damn impressive creation there. I'm kind of curious as to how many magnets are actually going on inside, if they are indeed magnets at all. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and go on to the next creation. Up next, we have the big freaking gun by Extianus. Alright, let's go ahead and spawn this thing in. It is a lot bigger than I expected it to be. Gonna assume that F is the fire button, so let's go ahead and see about this articulation here. So we have some pretty basic left and right movement, not too fast, and then the up and down also is about at the same speed. So that's a fairly simple control scheme. I do like how the bottom basin here actually rotates independently of the base. It looks really smooth, really professional. I'm kind of curious if it automatically anchored down to the ground, but we're gonna see what it fires. I think first we're going to go for the tallest building first, so let's go ahead and line this up the best we can. That's looking pretty good. I actually want to go for the base here a little bit, and F. And we have a charge sequence. What's it going to do? Oh! That's really impressive. Let's go ahead and move it down the line a little bit if we can. Now, I'm very curious as to how they ended up getting a green laser, because the only laser that I'm aware of, and it automatically stopped. Let's go ahead and see this from the other side. So again, from what I noticed, the only laser in this game is actually the red one, so I'm curious how they ended up making these green. There we go, and it started back up. Man, the animation is just sick. I mean, there's going to be absolutely no issues here. It's just going to vaporize absolutely everything it comes into contact with. And just like that, the rest of the buildings are down and out. And the laser also powered down at the same time, so that's pretty appropriate. This kind of reminds me of the laser that was happening in Subnautica. If you guys have ever played the laser that shot down the Sunbeam spacecraft, this kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Up next, we have The Big Bang by Jack Stomper 2006. Now, I go into most of these creations pretty blind. I just kind of go off of what the thumbnail looks like, so I really don't know what to expect. All right, we can see we are supposed to have some WASD controls, but the turning is, you know, it does leave something to be desired. All right, well, I'm really not sure what to expect, so let's just go ahead and align the front of this thing the best we can without doing any additional damage to the building. So let's see. Let's just go ahead and start pressing random buttons. We have E. E did a thing. E did a horrible thing, and I'm afraid we've lost all our frames to the game. And yeah, alright, so let's go ahead and press E again. I don't know if the game even registered that key hit there. I'm thinking it did because our frames came back. So we're gonna have to reset on that one. Alright. The compound might do us a little bit more favor, I'm thinking. I don't know why, but I'm thinking that's going to be the case. I'm going to go ahead and hit Q. We're going to hit Y. Hopefully that holds all the cannonballs within the shell here. I'm thinking that's the case. Yes, it is. And let's go ahead and hit E. Oh, there we go. Pretty impressive. So we're looking at basically a shotgun with this creation. I'm going to go ahead and try this once more. Something just happened. I'm going to hit Y a couple of times. I'm thinking, you know, what could really go wrong here? Aside from everything. All right, let's just go ahead and hit it. E. Let's go. Oh, there we go. Alright, well, with our creation looking like it's basically on fire, as along with everything else that's going on, I think it's time we go on to the next creation. Up next, we have the T-72B3 tank by Ace Blades. Alright, let's go ahead and spawn this guy in. I went ahead and changed map as it seemed more appropriate that a tank would be in the desert here. We can see we're actually quite quick. I think, I saw about 180 kilometers or so. The head of this tank, now I have tried to actually create tanks in this game before, and I have never been able to get like an attractive head design here. We can see everything about it. It's actually really good. The articulation's really nice. Let's go ahead and see. Yeah, and it's nice and quick as well. All right, let's go ahead and aim. Let's go ahead and I guess hit Y first because, oh, well, Y is not the case here. Wow, they even got bullets? How did they even manage that? Is this a new part to the game? It has been a minute since I've played. The gun looks phenomenal. Alright, well, let's go ahead and re-aim here the best we can. Let's go ahead and hit E. Yep, E was it. Alright, well, that was actually really cool. Let's see if we can do a few moving shots here. The trail that's actually following the round, I don't remember that being a thing. Is this a new gun? Again, it's been some months since I've played this game last. I do remember seeing a lot of updates with a lot of new parts here. Oh, I turned way too quickly. Wow, the gun has the recoil as well. That is so cool. It looks like it's actually shooting maybe one of the rockets. Maybe this might be one of the new rocket things. The damage actually feels about what you would expect from a actual tank to do, so that's really cool. Alright, and the last one we have for today's episode is Bad Reputation by Undead. Let's just try to do a simple walk forward if we can. Oh, and he tilts his hips. That's actually really impressive. Oh, he follows the camera. I'm thinking that's what's going on here. He's actually following the camera, so wherever the camera is pointing is where he's going to be headed, which is kind of a shame. I did want to actually look at the legs in a little bit more depth than what we got going on here. But I think first things first, let's just go ahead and run into this building and see what we can do. Oh, he's very floppy. He's very floppy. There we go. Now we can kind of get a view on the head here as well. Alright, so let's just go ahead and back up here real quick, and let's see what else these controls can do. Alright, let's go ahead and hit E. Alright, so E is going to open his mouth, and I just drop his head a little bit. And it doesn't seem like he's gonna be following the camera. I'm just noticing like the angles and things on his mouth are actually crazy impressive, and then the teeth are actually not all at the same angle. I'm seeing a little bit of jaggedness. Some are more out than in, and that is some crazy attention to detail. And I'm guessing Q does. Oh, Q doesn't do at all what I thought it was gonna do. All right, so and as soon as we let go of the E, he closes his mouth once again. All right, so let's go ahead and move just a little bit here. So I'm thinking that might be close enough for this fire thing. So do I have to do Q and E at the same time? I think I do. Now, I don't know if we can actually control where this guy is going. Oh, okay, so the arrow keys are just for his little arms, his little T-Rex arms. Well, guys, I do hope you enjoyed today's episode. I know I did. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like, and if you really enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. And with that, guys, I will see you all in the next one.